I have no choice but to defeat you.
You defeating me? What an arrogant kid you must be. I think you'll enjoy visiting the place I call home.
Welcome home, Joxit. Does this place seem familiar to you? I've created a reality that stimulates the first time I encountered with you. Everything will be provided for you, that being food, water, and the necessary requirements. However, two things are missing. Any connections to Earth or a way to escape is not currently available, unless you're willing to enter. Three souls, and your reality will no longer become my reality.
Hi, my name is Joxic, and I have no clue where the hell I am. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been almost 6 months, almost? Now, you do have to mind the different setup for this video because, well, the circumstances I've got myself into. Now, if there's one thing that I've realized through the research for this video and rewatching some of my videos and reading my friend Blaze's tweet longer, is that while these people that I've talked about, such as Pizza Hyper, TCS, Ghost of Time, and LizzietheRatcicle, while they're actually, pretty problematic human beings, there's no actual evidence of them being predators. In fact, I would more call them degenerates because there's no actual concrete evidence on them being predators. Does that mean I'm not going to make any more videos of them? Of course not. My points still stand to this day, and I still hate them with every fiber of my body. Now, what do I hate more than degenerates? Well, actual predators. Do you want some examples? Miss Gadelia, because she's actually stripped in front of a minor and sent nudes. GF Craze, for soliciting feet pics from not only Miss Gadelia but other minors. And of course, Thetarex, for being a disgusting human being and harassing girls in this community, and I would happily spit on his fucking face. Now, this video isn't actually on any of these predators. No. In fact, I'm going to be covering a person that I've actually defended from the Canadian hypocrite, Brian Jackson. I don't feel like that Brian Jackson fits on either side of the community. I mean, he's had some questionable chats with minors, but he hasn't gone as far as, stripping in front of a minor such as Miss Gadelia. So, why the hell am I making this video? Well, you'll soon find out.
How do I even introduce a person such as Brian Jackson? Well, there's a lot to cover about him. Brian Jackson is one of the most noticeable Splatoon personalities in the Splatsource community. Brian is a Gmodder who does Gmod animations for the community. Oh, my bad. He calls them comic dubs, but it's just a lazy excuse to provide a PowerPoint presentation with voice acting and call it animations. He mostly gained notoriety during 2018, which gained him a lot of subs and gave him a title as one of the higher-ups in the community due to his meteoric rise. However, it wasn't smooth sailing for this captain. During the rise of Brian Jackson as a personality in this community, Brian needed to face some of the biggest challenges during his reign, which cost him the ultimate price of both respect and his friends he has made along the way. In this video, I'll be covering the excruciating past, his apology that he gave out last year, and showing that he hasn't changed one bit, showing that he is an egocentric man-child that gives no shit about your privacy if he's close with you, and only cares about you if you're in his videos.
I'm just going to mention this because this is really important for this kind of video. Under any circumstances, please do not witch hunt, bully, harass, or attack anyone that I talk about in this video. This video isn't meant to be attacking a person. This is meant for harsh criticism for a person who seriously fucking needs an ego check. And just to convince someone who's sheep of how much of a destructive human being he is. Now, if you want to let out your frustration, please leave it in the comment sections below, or, message me personally on Discord. I'll be happy to actually spark up a great conversation with you. Alright, that's enough blabbering, let's get on to the fucking video.
This is going to be the most important part of the video, as it explains all the issues surrounding him, so I'm going to keep this, sweet and simple for you all. So sit back, relax, and allow me to lay it on you. It's very well known from many people who know Brian Jackson that he is not the one for taking criticism on basically anything, and it is still prevalent to this time that I'm recording this. It started off with Lolotech criticizing the work that Brian produces on YouTube, but it slowly spiraled into his behavior and attitude towards the community due to him losing connections with some of the members in this community. Some being, content creators such as Ghost of Time and LizzietheRatcicle for creative differences. Some being friends and relationships that took a dive on how much BJ placed himself on a pedestal. Yes, you heard me right, he actually calls himself BJ. I fucking... Brian also has a tendency to over-exaggerate situations and would on occasions ask other people to discuss why certain people had disconnected themselves from him. Around him, BJ knew that the world was collapsing around him. Most people started to lose respect for him. BJ lied about taking criticism due to the anger issues, grooming children, and in BJ's downfall, he lost a lot of people to make connections with, such as Scarlet Karate Girl being his therapist and anchor for all of BJ's issues. The last straw for both the community and Brian was another person I'm also not fond with, that being Rudy. I briefly mentioned this in my TCS video that after that exchange with BJ's friend T Zelda, TCS confronted Brian Jackson about it. I don't care how much I dislike someone such as Rudy, but in any shape or form, there is no line to be drawn when it comes to harassing someone to the brink of committing suicide. In all fairness, it's entirely deserved that BJ lost so many connections during his time. It's clearly obvious to most that Brian is a destructive person due to his anger issues, and it isn't right that one person had to anchor all of Brian's problems. So I give you my apologies to you, Skylar, for dealing with this fucking man-child. With everything piling up, like my work I need to do for maths, from a majority of BJ's friends pulling the plug with him and his behavior being publicly displayed, on July 7th, 2019, Brian believed it was time to take his own life. I'm aware that you probably know it, but I'm just going to remind you how pathetic Brian tries to pass it off as real, referring to his multiple brothers as he is, an only child, the poor grammar, and the overall edginess that radiates from this turd of a post. This post is just such a disgrace and an offense to those who, are tackling with suicide to push it off as a tool for attention. However, the story doesn't end there. As I've mentioned, Brian's two attempts were both foiled like Team Rocket trying to get Pikachu for 20 years by both TCS and Luma, which got a lot of criticism and hate towards it. To wrap up his past, I truly believe that every ounce of criticism and hate he has received is 100% deserved, as BJ's true colours were shown that were already not pretty to begin with. Unstable, malicious, cowardly, and egocentric. I know that I have defended Brian against TCS, but I knew all this information from making that video, so I found it unjustifiable for him to bash BJ for basically the same thing that TCS has committed. That doesn't mean his actions are, forgivable and means that I'm on Team BJ. I'm not taking any sides, since they're equally as flawed as each other. I thought that I could trust him with it, but with the next two topics made me lose trust in him insanely fast.
Kept you waiting, huh?
On the 22nd of June 2020, Brian Jackson came back into the Splatsource community for the third time after humiliation from TCS and Luma discovering him squirming back into the community on two separate occasions. A lot of people in this community welcome him back in open arms to this video, but I'm willing to break down this entire apology into a pile of ash due to how much he is focused on himself. I'm going to grab certain parts of it that are prevalent. If you want to watch the whole thing, I'll link it in the description. And Brian, just a personal message from me, you really need to get a better microphone because I needed to go into my editing software since you were that quiet.
No, seriously, hurry up! It doesn't really take that long to make the eggnog. You want to make the nog? Where is that mysterious friend? I don't have all day. Yes, I'm alive and well, but not recovered from the painful memories that I have experienced back in 2019 last year.
Bro, we're not even a minute in this video and you've actually just, victimize yourself to be the one to sympathize for. Like, have you actually forgotten that you've actually, groomed underage girls, attacked those who've, criticized you, as well as pushed a fucking idiot to commit suicide due to the amount of harassment you and your doppelganger has actually dished out? Going off for a great fucking start, aren't we?
I just want to say that I'm truly sorry for what I did.
No, you're not.
I'm sorry for faking my death. What I did was unforgivable and unacceptable and absolutely disgraceful.
Well, at least you learned something from your hiatus.
I was so depressed when my career got ended, and it nearly destroyed me. It tore me apart. And to tell you the truth, I felt like killing myself.
Just fucking do it! Yeah!
Okay, I'm gonna try really hard not to sound offensive at all because this is treacherous water to tread, but Brian, did you actually self-reflect why your career was going on a downward spiral? Your behavior and anger issues were so self-destructive that even with the following that you had, no one was willing to carry your burden. Your burden is for yours to carry, not for someone else to anchor. You can't just use your follower base to, be your therapist or someone to fucking help you.
I still wasn't the same. I had to go to many therapy sessions and talk about my traumas that I've been through.
Again, your trauma? Your trauma of being criticized by people on the internet? Oh, fucking boo-hoo! Grow the fuck up!
And I just want to let you know that I have reformed from my actions. I'm a reformed person. I'm no longer the same person that I once was. An immature, white-knighting, whiny man-child.
Oh, we'll see about that.
I admit for what I did. I didn't take criticism well. I took it in a bad way, and that was also part of my downfall as well.
Well, we're like 3 minutes into this video and you actually finally understood. Good job.
I will no longer white knight and retaliate people. I swear it. Like I said before, I'm a reformed person. And I especially apologize to Rudy. I'm really, really sorry for what I did. And I wish that I can go back and take it back. But I can't. And I can see that you guys don't believe me and thinking my apology is bullshit and lies. Well, like I said, it's not. I'm truly a reformed person, and I hope you guys can give me a second chance.
Well, around like 5 minutes in, you've actually finally apologized to Rudy. Good job. Although, throughout this video, I've actually heard you said, "I'm sorry." Some of you may not believe me, and I'm truly a reformed person about 5 million fucking times. So, it seems like the most cut and dry manipulation tactic. And also just, flat out lie because it contradicts your behavior like in a few months' time.
And there's one thing that I forgot to mention. The videos that I made are comic dubs. That's why you see my videos choppy like. Well, they're comic dubs. They're not real animations. I guess I should have told y'all from the beginning.
Again, mentioned in this video, it just sounds like a lazy excuse to show that you don't care about putting efforts in a community that primarily animates with Gmod. In fact, I'm going to be fair and put you up against actual comic dubs. Comic dubs have panels or numbers in the corner to show, hey, I'm a comic, and are later added with voice acting and sometimes animations such as sentences or panels fading in and out.
Family, huh? He's probably the closest thing to family I have, just because of our age.
Compared to what Brian calls comic dubs, are literally just screenshots taken from a program that's fully capable of making animations with the dozens of channels on the side, proving so.
Don't even think about it, Spider.
Aw, not again.
Dude, we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
But.
Just dropped the sodas very slowly.
I don't know if it's just laziness or he just doesn't know what animation is, since he just breaks any rule on it by adding animations with the mouth or basic gestures, but in some he just doesn't animate it. Like, he breaks any conclusion on the reasoning. If your own critics can probably produce a product that's on par or even better than yours with basically no experience of using that said software, then I see no reason to see your career being admirable at all.
I'm sorry that I didn't announce you all that my videos are actually comic dub videos. They're not animations. They're not stop motion animations. They're just comic dubs, or or slideshows, PowerPoints, whatever you want to call them, but they're actually comic dubs. Like all the comic dub artists out there.
Thanks, Tom. You know what really grinds my gears?
Brian Jackson II.
You've only just further proven my point, yet at the same time, these, comic book artists could probably spend the time to flesh out a fully rendered animation like you could, but no. You choose conformity since that's what you got you popular. Both Gmod and SFM have the capabilities to produce high quality videos with the right ideas and people behind them. I can easily prove that with your past friends, as they have basically multiplied in subs compared to you. Hell, even Lizzie the fucking Rat put more liberty and care into her videos by at least trying to emulate animation. I mean, it's not the best, but at least there's some effort that's put into it, and, when she got criticized from it from Pixar Prize, what did she do? She actually took the criticism and improved on it. Now, it looks pretty good. You don't even fucking try. Honestly, your excuse of saying that you're a comic dub artist is a disgrace to both the Splatsource community and your fans who deserve better. And I don't even like either of them. Plus, you missed the fucking most crucial thing in comic dub. The panels, or even the text boxes, for those who can't hear the voice acting. Like, you cut so many fucking corners, it's actually astonishing on how much work that go against your own arguments. I'm actually lost for words.
I'm a comic dub artist. That's what I should have told y'all from the beginning. Just to let y'all know that my videos are comic dubs, not animations.
Him repeating himself is going to be a reoccurring thing, isn't it? No wonder this video is like 11 minutes long.
And I admit, I'm not a good animator. I can't animate good like Spider, Claude's, Pool, Violet, or Geoff. I'm not. And I admit that.
I mean, I suck at guitar, but, do you see me complaining? I'm not sure if you've actually heard the thing called, practice, or, finding ways to make yourself improve, or, but yeah, I actually know a perfect idea. Taking criticism.
Not everyone is gonna like my videos. For the past couple of months, I've managed to win back most of my friends that I've hurt. And they finally see some improvement in my behavior. Really? And not to mention that I have been improving on my animation artwork as well. Especially the eye posing and such. And much more.
Really? Okay, this one he actually, did, so congratulations, you've upgraded from pre-LizzietheRatcicle tier animations. Congratulations, you've still got a far way to go.
I'm a redeemed person now. I've changed my behavior, my attitude, and especially my anger.
Oh, how times have changed soon enough.
I have changed my ways. I'm more mature now, and I have improved on my attitude and my artwork. And I promise that I will never hurt you all again, and I will not fake any more deaths. I promise. And I will take criticism well, and take it in a good way. A honest, good way.
I feel that every time he says, I'm sorry, I feel like this is going to be an indicator that's going to go downhill in the future. Oh, wait!
The rest is just repeating the same exact thing of being a reformed person, apologizing for his mistakes, and hoping he'll do better. The entire tone and the way he speaks comes off almost robotic, but it's most likely that he struggled to record it, so, props for you for having guts and doing it. However, this video in no shape or form should be 11 minutes. It baffles me that Brian just beats around the bush, repeating the same thing again and again like a robot. If anything, this should have just been like, not even 3 minutes. But through this entire 3 sentences that I remembered, there are 3 things that I picked up. He's a reformed person, he's going to improve on his animations and actions, and he's sorry for his past. Let's see how much of these promises hold up over time, or how much of these promises were just smoke and mirrors. For the first half of 2020, Brian boastfully claims that he is a reformed person willing to change. His actions as well as his quality in his videos. Stated in the Dirty Little Secret video, your credibility as a personality in the Splatsource community goes out the window the moment you fake your death. The majority of the evidence shown in this section was during the production of that said video, as well as my few month hiatus of the series. Now, How long was it going to be before Brian actually falls into more issues? Not even 3 months. Jesus Christ. I'm going to split this up into 4 segments since I believe all 4 of these topics are just as prevalent as each other, as it paints an even worse picture of Brian Jackson since he repeated the same sentence over and over again that I cannot remember how many times he was repeated. To this day, Brian has not released anything since the beginning of September. I have no concrete answer on why, but my only speculation is because of the other 3 topics on here, since they all had a role to play when it comes to Brian's reputation, since most of it happened throughout September to December last year. Like I mentioned in the apology section, his comic dubs have basically had the same liberty as an early LizzietheRatcicle animation, so to call them an improvement would be a stretch, I guess? And again, like I said in the previous section, he breaks all of his rules on what he is. Someday he might add little gestures to the characters, and some days he'll just choose to make a comic dub. It's inconsistent. Brian, just either choose to learn how to animate or just stick to your comic book style. Since chopping and changing through each video is not only inconsistent, but it's breaking your own words for what you apologize for. This comes from 2 quite big figureheads in the outsider community, that being LOL Attack and Kickplayer. There isn't much to talk about the LOL Attack issue, but the Kickplayer situation is not only fucking ridiculous, but just straight up petty for the behavior of Brian showcases. A quick rundown of the situation is that BJ made his own version of Kickplayer's sonar without his permission. However, one of Kick's friends, LK Gaming, legend by the way, was working on his OC for him. Unlike Brian, he actually had permission to do so. Once LK posted his Kick OC, not only did Brian upload his version of Kick's OC without permission, but threw a hissy fit since Kick uses LK's design to this day. Going 2 for 2 for false promises. Doing pretty good, BJ. However, you forgot one thing in your apology. BJ doesn't give a shit about your privacy. This comes to light thanks to General Salty being added to a group chat with BJ and finding Skylar Karate Girl's personal information. Salty confronted Brian about this, but was answered that it's her business and would only take it down to make him feel better. I'm just going to quote this from Salty since I basically have the exact same response as him. Brian, I don't give a shit if it's, supposed to make people feel better, but this is for the sake of someone's privacy. Do you actually care about anyone besides yourself? Like, let's put this in perspective. Brian, if your personal information, such as your full name, age, location, or whatever necessary info is on public display for a group of people, how would you feel? You would feel scared, since fucking God knows what could happen if the internet has your location. Then he turns around and says that he never saw the info in the chat. Yeah, sure he did. Do you actually understand how arrogant you sound? Like, even if you didn't see it, you completely disregarded someone's private information being leaked. Do you honestly not care about anyone besides yourself? I've also had a personal friend of mine who wishes to stay anonymous recount his experience with BJ, telling me that BJ actually tried to get his personal name. Now, while that's not as severe as the case of Skylar, it's still concerning that it wasn't a one-time occurrence and has happened to others as well. Now, this is the one thing I really hope for that would change, but not even he could even accomplish that. During production of writing this script, I was given this tweet from one of my friends, Stormy, which is a pretty good summarization for basically anyone I talk about. When told something hurts people, it can be hard to accept that your behavior hurts someone. What I try to do is take a moment and think about it, apologize, and try to correct it. We can't always control if someone hurts someone, but we can control how we respond to it. Your apology may not be always accepted. The person you hurt isn't required to forgive you because you apologize. The best you can do is to try not let it happen again, and try and understand what you did in the first place. Props to you, you made an amazing point, except that Brian might have not learned his lesson after the imposter incident and his repulsive lies, as well as being a massive fucking hypocrite. BJ paints this picture that he was the victim of Skylar. I'll let this image do the talking, since Brian is basically talking about himself. Explosive behavior, losing trust in the community. And while I'm not defending the actions of Skylar, at least she's aware of the fact that she has issues. He also adds that he should have never let her into the community as it's losing trust to a majority of his friends, and claims he's not the issue and Skylar exposed him out of spite. I know Skylar has mentioned her reasons, but let me put this in a more blunt way so I can drill it into his fucking brain. It's not out of spite. It's to get people like you who are so jaded on your image that your actions are damaging for yourself and the people who connect with you. I'm actually convinced that you have no idea what changes. Not even with a simple task as changing character designs can he not throw a fucking hissy fit about it. So the amount of times that Brian has apologized and regurgitated that he's going to change has been fucking shattered due to his behavior and actions in the last few months of 2020. What a wild ride it's been for Brian. If only it could get any worse.
So my first question is, what was your experience like with Brian Jackson? Like, is there anything you'd like to share?
I see him get really mad about stuff, and I'm kind of like, why? Because, well, in case these people don't know, I am part of the Professionals. Professionals is a Splatoon rant channel where we talk about people, and one time we were ranting about 2 people, and then he missed it. He wants to be a part of it, and then he like got so upset about it. He was like being over dramatic, like, oh my god, I failed. Oh my god, I'm such a disgrace. And I'm like, yo, it's not that serious. Chill out, bro. And then he decided to do a rant for himself, and he made death threats.
Oh my god.
You can't.
That's
you
the
can't
one
do
thing
that.
you shouldn't do, is send fucking death threats.
Yeah, you can't do that. I don't know why he did that, but, you know, he did.
From my experience, I thought it started a bit fine when he first just approached me on DeviantArt. I was like, oh, okay, he's just a fan, whatever. But when I saw his drawings, I'm just like, they're a bit cringy.
Bit cringe.
Yeah. Then he starts to get a little bit annoying in a way. You know, like just like, you know, like he has feelings for me or something at the start. But then I'm just like, no, thank you.
Yeah, understandable.
But then I start to get a little bit pissy at times that he won't leave me alone and that. But then I think it was around that I started to do some voice acting just after when Donut Joe announced a video, and it features Brian Jackson along with his characters like Jerome, Christine, and Jessica, and that's when I'm like, I think maybe he's good at voice acting. Maybe I can. I'll give him a chance. Big mistake after that when I heard.
Yeah, when I was editing the video, I legit had a problem like hearing his audio. I like legit needed to like crank him up because I'm like, bro, you're so fucking quiet.
Oh yeah, he is in a way. And I'm doing some voice works for Donut Joe, and Brian Jackson appears most of it in Donut Joe's videos. But something happened, the heavy Squid exposed, well, which it's already done like, And that's when Donut Joe just left the community, and I realized that BJ gets sensitive that, why did he leave? Like, why did he leave? Unannouncement, or why? He was my best friend and all, and I still miss him, blah, blah, blah. Jeez, he gets very sensitive.
Would you say he's a very overdramatic person?
He is the definition of a drama queen.
Oh, definitely.
And like, he makes everything about him. This one time, this is gonna sound messed up. We were in the server, right? And Brian Jackson was talking. He finished talking, and someone said, "My dad has COVID," and then we're all like, "Dang, we're sorry, bro." Out of nowhere, here comes Brian Jackson. I'm gonna finish working on my poster. Did you not hear what he said? He just said his father has COVID.
Yeah.
Did you not hear him? That was someone said, and I told the dude, I'm like, "You all right?" He said, "Dang, that actually hurt." He was like, "Dang, that actually hurt me." And I said, "Hey man, it's all right. I got you. It's okay. Like, I'm sorry about your father, dude. It was so kind of."
Yeah, sort of like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And from what I've noticed, I keep hearing that some people mention BJ doesn't take criticism well. Which...
Oh no, he does not. He does not. I did mention this, is that you and Ralph or Ghost of Time,
Yeah.
you disconnected with him because of creative differences. Do you mind if you can elaborate on that?
It started back in 2019, so if I remember correctly, I think it's when Brian Jackson just came up with the idea of another idea. I forgot what it's called, but I think he mentioned something about the big chungus and
Jesus Christ, no. I'd not like to hear that.
and Ghost of Time 1 wasn't really happy about it. He does not like that meme. I don't like that meme either. No, and it's not gonna happen. And
So, the reason why is that, like, he just had shit ideas, basically.
very shitty ideas.
You probably know it already, but, like, were you kind of aware of what was going on when he quote-unquote died?
Oh, I was aware of that. He did. I wasn't happy how he tried to make a fake suicide attempt.
No one would. No one in your position would, honestly.
Exactly.
I've got one question to I got one more question to ask, by the way. Do you think Brian Jackson cares about anyone else besides himself? Do you think he cares about anyone besides himself? Because basically, with my evidence that I have, he doesn't really give a shit about other people.
I'm gonna be straight. That's a yes and no. He cares about the people that are going to be in his videos. That's the people he at least attempts to give a damn about.
Wow.
He attempts to give a damn about.
God.
But anybody else?
Yeah, nah.
Like I gave you an example earlier when that dude was talking about his COVID, and he was like someone new to the server, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't pay any attention to them.
Yeah.
He doesn't. The only people he pays attention to is the people in his video or the people that can expose him or end him. That's the only people he's gonna pay attention to.
Jesus.
Being straight up.
So I'll definitely get some attention from him.
we got your attention. You want attention, or you're finna get it?
I'm gonna get it. Oh Jesus, honestly, that's fucking crazy because I've never seen someone so arrogant almost. Like, he only cares about people in his video. Like, he only cares about people that benefit him. Basically, the videos.
Pretty much.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, now that you mention it, he might have in my books, but he seems to be fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. He tried to bring me back in his videos to voice, but I just no, thank you. Because after the shit you've been through and that, and I'm just a bit worried if the rest of the people that were like harassing him or just hated his guts and that, I don't want to become the enemy.
You don't want to be a part of that as well, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good stance on it, honestly. Like, yeah. Do you think that Brian Jackson will ever change? Like, do you think he'll, have a retribution that people will forgive him for everything?
Well, I would say some people don't, but I'm pretty much on the neutral side. But what I'm very disappointed is the way how he tries to drag me either Joey or Chris, for mentioning that, because for example, I mentioned about how Rudy cut ties with him again. And he was trying to tell me to ask Rudy about what's going on, but I just went no thanks, sorry, I'm kind of busy at the moment. But for me, if I tell Rudy about that, she won't answer. Well, I know that. But for me, I think I'm just a bit disappointed that I've heard rumors that he's never changed.
Yeah. With all the evidence on the table, I am beyond disgusted that Brian is let back into the community with a half-assed apology and false promises. While I don't think he is as bad as Ellie or GF being actual predators to the community, Brian is on the verge of being just as bad, as he's not only exploited the naivete of the younger Splatsource community, but deserves every ounce of criticism and issues people have dished out about him. I may be over-dramatising this situation, but as always, any ounce of respect and goodwill is always thrown out of the way once you fake your death. It's never worked out and it never will, so seeing people such as Brian screwing himself back into a community that didn't accept him beforehand, it just makes me disappointed to no end.
Now, if you excuse me, I have justice to serve. A former friend, content creator, as well as his own self. You take away the one thing you have left,